Good evening, it's To The Point. Welcome to our show. This evening we'll be discussing 30th of January anniversary, the revolution's anniversary. It's been 8 years. How far have we come? What has Egypt learned since June 30th? And much more will be under discussion this evening. With us in the studio is Dr. Ahmed, Osama Abu Doma, member of the Egyptian Council for Foreign Affairs, in addition to so many other hats.
Thank you.
A pleasure to have you with us.
My pleasure.
8 years. Before we go into details, 8 years ago, it was a very difficult day.
Yeah.
Maybe very difficult to the extent that at the time we might not have envisioned we'd be where we are today, because it was a very trying period in Egyptian history. And maybe it was one of the few times in history whereby the Egyptian rank and file, all Egyptians, we had millions that went out into the street and joined hands to say, that's it, we don't want the brotherhood, we want a change.
Yes.
Did we get the change, in your opinion?
Yes. Yes, we did it. It's unforgettable moments for all of the Egyptian society.
Yes.
But also it impressed the whole world that more than 30 million Egyptian people together from all categories, from
Yes.
all places, refusing the management of the Brotherhood.
It was a real revolution by the people.
Yes.
Yes.
And we respect totally our national military, Egyptian military, that they are all the time in the side of people.
Yes.
By all means. Before that, in the 25th of January, they were
Behind
the Egyptians. In the 30th of June, they were with the
protecting the Egyptians.
And this turning point is very crucial, and it avoided Egypt from a civil war.
Yes.
It's avoided Egypt from divisions and dividing the...
a civil war which we saw in neighboring countries.
Yes.
Which we're still seeing in neighboring countries.
It still continues there.
Yes.
In Libya, till now, they didn't get out of the situation.
Unfortunately.
Syria, it's a big crisis and international war inside the country, with occupation, the intervention of Turkey, Russia, Iran, whatever, a lot of countries is there. In Yemen, they have civil war still till now. So these examples is showing even anyone who has doubts about protecting Egypt from this mess is a very valuable and appreciable revolution. And I think now the Egyptians are watching the news everywhere. With the open societies and the satellites, we still fighting terrorism inside Egypt. They don't stop. We have on the borders a lot of challenges in Libya, in Sudan, the instability in both countries, the challenges now in Ethiopia, and with the residence dam, they are insisting to continue it to the hard way. But actually, I would like to congratulate, first of all, our distinguished President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and all of the Egyptian crew and decision makers in the foreign affairs, in the military, in the intelligence, in the interior that they are working hardly by a full of speed to try to control and manage all of the struggles and conspiracies against Egypt as much as they can.
One of our toughest battles was terrorism. And here, because terrorism is linked to certain agendas, and unfortunately I have to say certain outside agendas, whose aim was basically to divide and conquer Egypt. How do you think we managed to handle that battle? Because one of the fiercest battles of terrorism is the brainwashing of young people, because unfortunately those leaders, if we can call them leaders, they really use naive young people to carry out their, I don't know, there's a professional word to describe, but their sick agendas.
Yes, they're hidden dangerous agendas, because these kind of terrorist groups long time ago, and it is an international groups. It's not only in Egypt. We have to notice and to look for the whole world. In Africa, there are a lot of troops and crimes and doing instabilities in their countries. In Egypt, they are still awaiting their hidden cells, are still awaiting the moment to regain their position. They are working on not only the naive persons, even smart persons, but they are playing to brainwashing them by the name of the religion. And this is the much dangerous point in their agendas. They are using like the name of God, the name of religions, but in the same time they are totally out of understanding the reality of their religions, because religions is for peace, is for serving people, not for hurting, not for doing these crimes against humanity under the name of religion. So they are bringing a lot more troubles.
How do you see us handling that file? Because this is one of the critical files that the president really had to, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi had to handle since his coming to office. It was a battle. Yeah. Sinai, the situation was catastrophic. How do you think we managed to handle that critical file?
This critical file, Al-Azhar al-Sharif is working parallelly and in cooperation with the president for a lot of conferences and establishment of a coalition with Muslims, Christians, even Jewish religious leaders for clarifying the religions from these kind of wrong used information for terrorism. Second is, we are still working. It needs a lot of work on the ground. Like, for instance, I'm working in interfaith dialogue and peace building worldwide.
Yes.
And regionally and in Egypt. We did a pilot project for training the teachers of religions, the Egyptians, the Muslims, and the Christians, and with parents, and with the psychology specialists in schools, to understand from them first of all, how they are looking for the situation, what's the challenges, the real challenges in the Egyptian culture.
Okay.
Because this recent situation, yes, they built it in decades, but they are trying to change the Egyptian shape and the Egyptian culture.
Okay.
Like Egypt is unique in this understanding for religions, Muslims, Christians, we all enjoying together all of and celebrate together all of the religious celebrations, even we are not religious or not. People are in peaceful relations, and this is one of the Egyptian features.
Yes.
So it needs more of working on the ground and engaging people, the young generation, and rise up the national emotions by engaging them in the activities in. And now we see that development now is very going in a very high rank, and the new establishments of the industrial schools and technology schools with engagement with the businessmen for the Egyptian society. So let's having these kind of soul and vibration and the contacts for people, and they have to know that their voice is listened, their voice is matter, their lives is matter. So they have to know that the Egyptian military now is facing, and it's from our people, the Egyptians or
Yes.
people in the guards and in the police. They are from our families and from our societies. We have our people there. They are Egyptian people. So we are facing all challenges of crimes against humanity. We are facing a war, expected war for the life of the Egyptians. So now all of the efforts is going on by the president and by the military, by the foreign affairs, by the intelligence, by the people, serving people, even civil society. Is very important to engage together to serve as much as we can to develop our country internally, to get people a lot of better opportunities for their jobs and for their careers and for their identity. Here is the big challenge. They are trying to let people lose the way, lose the map under slogans of beyond the nationality. They want to fight for religions, like Hamas doing in Palestine. They are trying to attract people or to convince them that we are the guards for the religion. In the same time, they are an arm from the Brotherhood in Egypt, and they did a lot of crimes in Egypt. But the difference here is the Egyptian government and the president was responsible, and we never left our responsibility for the Arab world or to the Palestinian-Israeli conflict since started till now, and we are playing our role without the small calculations like this is not let them go away.
Yes.
But we are looking for the civil rights and the civil lives of our people everywhere.
I was going to get into prior to June 30th and after June 30th, the position of Egypt or the foreign policy of Egypt. How do you see it differing?
The differences is really actually very clear.
And here I would like to say June 30th. Some world leaders, some media said we did not see the 30 million. And they said it was a coup. Today, the language is different. For example, the African Union took that position.
Yes.
And then it reversed the position to the extent that Egypt was the chairman of the African Union.
Yes.
And here I'm saying, how do you see positions evolving since June 30th?
Actually, in fact, people, if they want to deny the facts talks more louder and reasonable. So Egypt now is recognized by all countries, by all means, after a long time with foreign affairs and even with the second track to convince people about what happened in Egypt. And lately, even the Turkish leader, they are against Egypt all of the time, all of the years ago, and now they are approaching for having a better relationship with Egypt, and let's forget what happened before. So the success of Egypt for being well established, the stability of Egypt, and the efforts and development and building bridges and dealing with all countries, even whatever the changes with their leadership.
Yes.
Like for instance, in the United States, we had Trump and the Republicans. Now we are with President Biden and Democrats. In Israel, we had Bibi Netanyahu and his party, and now today we are with the new government, and the president gave a call, I think the days before. So with the Sudan, there are a big change through the revolution, and now we have a new transitional period still exists there, but by all means, in all of the changes around us, the Egyptian responsibility of the leaders and the decision makers are very wise to deal and to manage the situations by all of them, and to build bridges everywhere in Africa. Now we are going on in like circulating our relationship with the African country, and this is our base, and it's very important for our depth. Globally, there are a lot of terrible situations between Russia and the EU, tensions between the Greece, Cyprus, Turkish. We find also the terrorism in Afghanistan, in Pakistan, still exists with the Taliban and Al-Qaeda and all of these generations, and the Daesh, all of these kind of generations is a kind of cells just developed by the idea of using religions in destroying countries. And you will find by the end of the story, for any analyst who is not biased for any part, that they are just destroying the countries they are in, they are living in, that like having civil wars, like having the power, but they have no real objective. They make sense even to be respected.
Yes. The whole idea was to walk into Egypt and destroy the fabric of the society, divide the rank and file.
Yeah.
How do you see the rank and file or the fabric after June 30th? What message did the Egyptians give to the world?
The message of the Egyptians that we are, the Egyptians, have our own identity of Egypt with the luxury of diversity of people who respect the women and ladies, cheering them, and they were queen during the pharaoh's time, long time ago. So now people just started to talk about the rights of women's rights and the political participation, which is
Yes.
a joke. I meant that the reality of Egypt, like how it was impressive with the presidential opening with the new museum a few weeks ago, how it was impressive to the world to look for the Egyptian civilization.
Yes.
Egypt is an unique country with her features. We don't have any kind of extremists, whatever, against religions or whatever.
It's not in our.
It's
right
not of our
fact.
culture.
Yes.
Maybe you will find people with the soccer and football fighting too much more with the national football teams. But with the Egyptians, no, we have our identity, who also respect the diversity and differences everywhere. You can name the Egyptian
Yes.
national people, and their identity is absorbing the as a global citizen.
Youth. You have a country whereby over 60% of its population are from the younger generation.
Yeah.
You have quite a large strata of the society, youth. How do you see the evolution and the maturity of youth over the past few years? The rights of youth, because personally speaking, when I was in that age range, my voice was not heard.
Yeah.
And the way I see it, and here I should not be talking about a personal experience, but it seems that for the first time you see Egyptian youth opinionated, given the opportunity to express their views, given the opportunity to even have any form of participation, allowed the participation, see economic participation, political participation. I mean, how do you see the maturity of youth over the past few years?
The maturity of youth is really appreciated, and they are involved in what's going around. They have the tools of information through the technology now and IT, and so they can also telling us about historic political actions in the past happened. You will find people searching. Just give him the name and he will Google it.
Yes.
And finding a lot of researchers, and they will give you their opinion. So now we need our power, which is the new generation. And I'm very proud of the new generations, actually. Even if they have sometimes opposite opinions, that's normal. And when we were in the, maybe I'm different because I was growing up in a political situation, family, and I was sitting with politicians, so I can discuss things. And I'm writing now about the time of the transitional political situations in Egypt, which I was noticed since I was a child.
Yes.
So now the people and the young generation, they still insisting, and they have vision, and they have the power of youth. I hope that the Egyptian government and leaders attract them for more participation, because this generation who will build the future of Egypt.
Yes.
We need them to be strong, solid, well-educated, well-identified, knowledgeable, approaching, doers. So the future of our country will be in a safe hand.
Yes.
That's what we need for this generation. They need more care, because they need to be listened. Yes, they are writing on Facebook now, Instagram, Twitters. They have groups on different places and following everywhere what's going around. So we need the engagement of youth in our activities, not only with the presidential conferences, but also you have to find them, because they are watching what's happening, even the mistakes during the elections or whatever, they know it. So as we said, we cannot deny the facts, and don't underestimate the knowledge and the youth vision. And this is very important. And for our generation, we were respectable from our elders when we are talking on the same level.
Yes.
So some people feel strange that you have someone in the 80th and you say that I know him since 20 years ago or more. So the difference of ages is very big.
Yes.
And why? Because I was eager to learn. I want to know more. And I'm reading for the different positions. So even with these kind of brotherhood or these troops, during our college years, they didn't convince or attract our minds to join them. But we were doing debates with them. And once if you have a group, we hold it, its name is peace. Yes. The word peace, like, make them crazy. That's why, because they are living and building their existence by war, not for peace and development.
Political maturity.
Yes.
I mean, we've had 20th of Jan, we've had June 30th. We've come through a lot since 2011, 10 years of lots of political changes. How has this enriched the political awareness even of Egyptians, in your opinion?
All of the events was very big events and big changes. So people passed through revolutions, withdrawal and changes of the presidents, watching what's happening regionally, globally, and inside the country. So all of every event happening is enriching by default the maturity of people. Because now you'll find, even sometimes we discussed in our Foreign Affairs Council that about regional situations. I predict long time ago, and I told one of the Palestinian ambassadors, I told him, don't count now of the youth demonstrations. You will not find this on their agenda. And after that, not the last event, it was something before, maybe 1 year ago, and I found the situation as I expected, and I read it, because sitting with people on the ground and with the grassroots,
yes,
they will impress you. Yes, they don't talk English, but they are following our conversation and asking even someone, and what was saying that, but they trust and they understand that this guy is talking for the sake of the country, for Egypt, from his national identity. This guy, he is from the opposition. This guy is trying to be a hero.
Yes.
People now they are very smart and analyzing everything. Even with the parliament election and the Shura Senate now
Yes.
election, they can write by themselves, not the political writers or analysts, the grassroots, the youth, the young generation can tell you what happened totally
Yes.
during the election, what's the invading, what's happened right, what happened with by votes, what happened through the political parties. And this is very important point, that we need a real political parties who can convince people and young generation to join and to work for the country.
Women.
The superpower. Women, as I'm always saying, all over my life, they are the builders of the human beings, of the humanity. They are the builders of the family, they are the builders of the personality, they are the builders of the countries. Women is the real pillar in our society. And I'm saying this not as a compliment, but it is the truth. And I'm personally, in my life, I am proud of my late mother and my late grandmother, who played a very important role, even to give me to, even after a long time of researches, traveling abroad, I found that by default, the seeds of your broad-minded is the lady who grow you up.
Yes.
So this is very important, not to say women rights or men or whatever conflicts. This is new. And I don't like personally to repeat like same words everywhere. No. The respect of the relationship between the parents, the girl and the boy, no discrimination between your kids, no discrimination between anyone, not only for the gender part, but for the color or religions. The respect is the key word and the key of successful building a society. All of our respect to the Egyptian women, and now we have also from all over the history, we have a lot of people, our teachers, our professors in the universities, our neighborhoods, our nannies, we appreciate all of this and grateful for every single woman who did a good thing for us to be like now.
Yes.
Like for instance, when you will find a man is dressed well or having a smile, so you must, it's known by, without saying that he is happy in his personal life. If you can find someone depressed, even in the hard time, so you have to know that he was not supported from his partner. The ladies are the main factor of and the secret of success. So the happiness, the passion, even during the hard time. A lot of politicians I met a lot during my life, and decision makers worldwide. One of them said, if you find the man in the hard time still strong, know that his lady is the backbone and backing him. If she withdraw, it's like
Yes.
betrayed him in the weak point. So the ladies and women are very important, and I respect our country. They are doing a lot, and they need more appreciation. They need more of services, and actually what we can say, they are our life, wives, sisters, friends, relatives, colleagues. They are our partners in life. So we are in the same page. I don't like the kind of discrimination or divisions. This is point, by the way, they are dividing and playing on it sometimes. And this is sometimes used to destroy the Egyptian family. It's sometimes used...
But definitely women have come a very, very long way, and suffice it to say their political participation in the June 30th revolution was...
Yes, sure. It was very well...
something that definitely was recognized not just internally, but even outside Egypt.
Yes.
Dr. Ahmed Osama Abu Doma, thank you very much for joining us this evening. I'd like to thank you, the viewers, and stay tuned for more to come on Now TV International.